President Cyril Ramaphosa has reassured local and international investors that the move to expropriate land without compensation will be done in adherence with the rule of law. He was speaking at a Goldman Sachs event in Johannesburg on a range of issues where its South Africa MD, Colin Coleman, asked the president questions on policy, including how his new government is set to tackle the problem of Eskom. In a room filled to the brim, investors and journalists alike listened attentively to a leader who's been given a mandate to turn the fortunes of the local economy around. President Cyril Ramaphosa's posture was one of a man with a modicum extra of confidence about what needs to be done to execute policy, and he emphasized that the National Development Plan remains the overarching policy of the country.
The key focus is going to be on growing the economy so that it can produce jobs. The key mandate that I have as president is to make sure that I focus on jobs. And I often say that's what keeps me awake at night. Because we've got too many of our people who are out of work, particularly young people. We want to come up with policies and projects that are going to ensure that young people get jobs.
President Ramaphosa addressed concerns around policy and its implementation.
At the presidency level, we used to have a policy unit. I'm reviving it now. It's coming back. We're going to have a policy unit that is going to help to inform policy at government level, but also to ensure that there is policy implementation. So it will be in the presidency, under my continuous watch, to ensure that things do happen. We've got an overarching plan, as you know, the National Development Plan. And that plan has been broadly embraced and accepted by everyone. It's precisely the lodestar, or the blueprint that we have as a nation. And we are going to ensure that it does get implemented. It takes us to 2030. And of course, implementation has always been the key challenge.
The president touched on what his reconfigured cabinet should mean for the country.
What we will be seeking to do is to come out with an institutional framework that is going to serve our country best, our economy well, and ensure that we focus on economic growth. The key problem that we face as a country is low economic growth. And it all revolves around the economy. As Bill Clinton said, is the economy stupid? And that's what it is. It is that, and we're going to be focusing more on ways of generating more economic growth, creating jobs. So the structure that we have of government is going to speak to that. And the coordination which we just spoke about is also going to be seeking to address that. And we'll be seeking to get people, men and women, who have great competence, great capability to serve the needs of the people of South Africa and to ensure that our economy grows.
Investors were keen to hear how the president is going to deal with the current key fiscal systemic risk to the country, that being Eskom. And in addressing it, he touched on how state capture had messed up the company and also alluded to the utility being bloated with staff and that issue needing to be addressed, among others.
The governance was a major problem. The management also a major problem. And then it led to the ballooning of the staff. And many more people were employed. And our power station, in terms of what we produce, in terms of the power we generate, when we compared to others in the world, we overstaffed. But that is a problem that we have inherited, and we have to deal with it sensitively with our unions in very thoroughgoing discussions without, in the end, just throwing people out willy-nilly in that way. We've had financial challenges. I mean, Eskom is the only company, I think, in the history of this country which has worked up a debt of 430 billion rand. So it's a problem that we have to deal with. But in the end, Eskom is just too big to fail.
Ramaphosa did state, however, that Eskom was not going to be privatized, but there was a willingness to partner with the private sector in running its various operations. On the land issue, President Ramaphosa reassured investors that they need not worry about the process, as it would all be done within the rule of law.
We are saying here in South Africa, we've always adhered to the rule of law. We have a constitution, and we are going to insist that everything is done in terms of our constitution, in terms of the rule of law. And I've said repeatedly ad nauseum that there will never be land grabs. We will not allow land grabs to happen. We will ensure that the process of land reform takes place in an orderly manner, in a manner where everyone fully participates.
Ramaphosa indicated that it was in his upcoming State of the Nation address where he would outline how his new government planned to effect policy. Nompumelelo Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.